Hello everyone, it's Magnum, the sole developer of Nobody Amygdalarium here. It's been a long time since I've done an update, isn't it? It was, I think, January, and there's been so many changes and stuff. I thought it would just be best to put a video out. Anyway, yeah, hi, I'm good, I'm well. Life's been crazy, busy, but let's get into it, shall we? So yes, I got a number of things I want to tell you guys about, and hopefully this will satiate you. So yeah, first of all, title change. Nobody Amygdalarium. Ooh, what does that mean? So the amygdala is part of your brain. It's this tiny little thing in your brain, and it is very important. So, you know, it's important for memory, it's important for your senses, and stuff like that. And I thought that was very apt, you know, considering the mechanics of the game and stuff like that. So for anyone who has played the demo, you'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so we've got the title change, Nobody Amygdalarium. I would love to know your thoughts on that. Let's go over a few of the lesser changes before we get onto the meat and bones. So as you can see, I've made some menu changes. It's a lot darker now because the tone of, you know, the actual game compared to the demo, it is a lot darker. The demo was just sort of to show off what the characters are like, what the battle system was like, stuff like that, you know, the senses system, the combat on the map, you know, how you could like swing your sword and stuff. One thing I do want to say as well is like the options menu is so messy. I really hate it. So this will be changing. This will become more organized. Next thing is the pockets menu, but in the demo it was just like a little list that would appear in the corner. Didn't like that, but it worked for the demo. But now I'm thinking of something more like this. So when you open it, as you can see, it's more of an it's just a better menu with the title, you know, of what the item is, the name of the item, little description underneath that'll have like a bit of lore or description, or maybe just say like where you got it from, etc, etc. So just something a lot more visually pleasing. Next is the battle screen. So couple of changes here. Instead of having a little face in the corner, I now want to utilize sprites. I borrowed these sprites off a friend who's also developing a game. I did play the demo for it. It's a work in progress. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's called Ultra Mayhem, but the U in Ultra is a V. Ultra Mayhem. That's what it's called. It's pretty cool. It's got some nice artwork, some nice sprites, and the battle system's dope. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see when he releases that. Anyway, it's just a little shout out for him. But yeah, he let me borrow these placeholder sprites that he drew. But I just really love them, and I think it'd be really cool to have, you know, our characters, Clownface, Miles, Angel, and Witch here, doing their unique little animations and stuff there. I want them to be really expressive and really personalized, customized. And yeah, I really want the battle, this is something that I'll mention later, but I do want the battle system to be a lot faster. I think it's too slow, so I'm going to work on that. Now, let's get on to the big bitches, shall we? So, if you played the demo, this is going to be one of the biggest changes, so we'll talk about this first. If you played the demo, you might remember walking around on the map, you could walk in 4 directions, you could stab in front of you, and that was about it, really. This worked well for the demo. This is fine. You know, it was simple, it was effective, but because of the ideas that I've got, it was just not enough. It just wasn't robust enough. And so I spoke to a guy who, I suppose his developer name is like The Dragon. And he's a really great programmer, and he helps me a lot with stuff that I just can't do. So I sort of reach out to him sometimes and pay him to help, basically. You know, I told him what I wanted, what I was thinking. I wanted something closer to like A Link to the Past, because it's simple enough. It's not like crazy. It's not like Fury or Hades or anything like that. And he came back with essentially like for like A Link to the Past. So as you can see here, he even used, this is like gameplay that he sent me in debug mode, obviously. This is what he sent me, and as you can see, he is using like the sprites. Although I think the Link sprite is that from A Link to the Past, or is that from Minish Cap? Either way, you get the idea. So this is what we're going for. This is in RPG Maker, by the way. This is literally in engine. This is in my game. This is just one of the testing grounds. Obviously, you will not be playing as Link, but maybe I'll put in like a costume change reference or something. I mean, Clownface does wear a hat, so I could put something in as a reference, something like that. But it's really smooth. It's really fucking cool. We've got Octoroks as well, like an Octorok type enemy. There are more enemy types that I want, so I want something a bit like a zombie, because the kobolds have a bit of AI. So if you put your shield up, they will try to attack you from a different angle. I want a sort of zombie enemy that just kind of walks towards you, and it has no intelligence whatsoever. It will just walk at you, you know, and if you've got your shield up, it's just walking at you. They just kind of follow you around. I wouldn't mind something like a mage as well, that will like appear in one location, shoot a projectile, then disappear and appear somewhere else, like appear far away, like a couple of spaces away from you, something like that. Also, I'd like, I guess almost like an arrow trap. So, you know, it's not really an enemy, you can't destroy it, but like if you walk within a certain distance, it will shoot arrows at you or something like that. One of the earliest ideas I had was that you would go into a boss battle, and it would be turn-based, from, you know, the usual turn-based from what we've seen, and then at a certain point, like after it's taken so much damage, it would like boot you out of the turn-based, and it would go to on the map combat, where you would have to shoot it with your arrows or whatever, hit it with your sword. It would be a bit like bullet hellish, so you've got to do lots of dodge rolling and stuff, and then you would have to do something to go back into the turn-based battle. So whether it's like there's sort of like maybe there's a little puzzle for one boss, maybe for another boss you just have to keep attacking it, maybe for another boss you have to just reach it, maybe it's like really far away and just shooting lots of projectiles, so you've got to like dodge through the projectiles to get to it, and stuff like that really. And then it will go back into the turn-based, and it would do that essentially with each phase becoming more difficult. And that's why having something like this, where you can run in all directions, and it's more pixel-based movement rather than tile-based, so much better. And it's just so smooth and works really great on keyboard, surprisingly. But yeah, so that is that. Please don't sue me, Nintendo. So that's one of the biggest changes. Another big change is the inclusion of the stress meter. So at the minute on this screen, as you can see, it's called the Mosh gauge, and that's because in a very early rendition of the game there was this Mosh meter, the Mosh gauge, and essentially you would fill it all the way up from the X all the way to the little rock sign, and think of it more like a limit break, and then you would expend the gauge on someone's limit break. It was like a shared limit break. I decided to do away with that idea because I feel like it's been done to death. And so now we've got this stress meter. How does it work, you ask? Well, every single action, apart from using items, every single action, whether it is you or an enemy, will move the stress meter to the right. So on the furthest right is the where it says max here. That will be like you're super fucking stressed out. On the far left, where it's blue, that's you're super fucking chilled out. Now what happens is, the closer that the arrow gets to stressed out, the more attack damage you will do, but the more damage you will receive. And when it goes to the blue side, you will do less damage, but you'll also take less damage. So it's up to you as the player to utilize the character's stress effectively. Now, as you can see here, there's this weird symbol in the middle. So this is just a placeholder, and the symbol will change to be different element types. Now, as you know, each character only has one element type. So Clownface's heart marked his body, angel is soul, and witch is mind. So when this changes to, let's say, the mind symbol, if you then use a mind type attack, a mind skill, that will move the arrow toward being chilled. If you don't, then that's it. This will change, the symbol will change each turn. Now in the game, one turn is after everybody has attacked, okay? So it will change. I don't know whether to have it change after one turn or 2 turns, but I do not want it there longer than 2 turns. And it will just change to another symbol. On top of that, sometimes the symbols will come with little bonuses. And for example, the bonus might be that when you use that mind attack, it will then do double damage. Or it might have an additional effect. Now, if you remember, you had access to all 5 of your senses. So sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing, or listen. If you're really stressed out, your sight... What? Baby? What? You are disturbing my video. Yes. You were fast asleep 2 seconds ago. What is it? No. Can I carry on now? Oh, is that okay? Fine. As I was saying, so yes, if you're completely stressed out, you will not be able to. You will not be able to use sight. You will not be able to use listen, and you will not be able to use smell either, because it's basically like your character is so stressed they cannot focus enough to, like, they are seeing red essentially, you know. And if you've ever been that mad and you're like seeing red that bad, you know what it's like. It's like no one can stop you in that moment. And then when you get to if it goes all the way to the blue side, then you can use all your senses. Additionally, when you're super stressed, I forgot to mention, touch becomes punch and taste becomes bite. So basically you just become feral. You just go feral when you're super stressed. So there are some other things that this stress meter will affect, but I want to wait, and I'll reveal those in the future when I've implemented it properly. So next change, or addition shall I say, referring to it as the 6th sense. Now, this is something that's going to come later in the game, and now what you have to do, this is not one of those little slide image puzzles, because I fucking hate those, they drive me mental. These little icons, you have to select them in a certain order. Now, how do you know what order? You can go to a certain merchant and you can buy books, because in this game basically there is going to be an enemy encyclopedia, a bestiary. There's going to be a bestiary, and once you know the code will be kept in the bestiary. Now you can purchase the answers. Essentially, you can purchase like cheat books, or you can learn the code by using your senses and conversing with the enemy. But more on that later. Now, if you manage to do it in the correct order, oh, and by the way, like the little potion, that's an item. So as long as you select that, it doesn't matter when you select it. You could select it at the beginning of the code combination. You can select it in the middle. As long as you select it, basically you'll get an item. If it's correct, if this entry is correct. If it's incorrect, it will disappear. So you only have one chance basically. So you got to be sure that you have the right combination. So once you've done that, it will then bring up the next part. So this is all part of that same minigame. You've just done the 6th sense correct. This then should happen. So you're probably wondering, what the hell did I just watch? So where we've got Clownface here, this would obviously be, this is just a placeholder. Everything here is placeholders. one of the changes in the game is that the stagger bar has gone, and you can only cause a nobody by using your senses, right? This is the new thing, because I wanted to make using senses more important. After watching people play, some people were curious as to what using the senses would do on different enemies. Other people didn't give a shit. But the thing is, it's really beneficial to use the senses because, for one, to be fair, it'll give you a way to defeat enemies in a pacifist way. Two, by using your senses, you can get items and permanent stat boosts. And the items, you can't get them anywhere else in the game. They are like exclusive to those enemies. And I really wanted to emphasize that and really emphasize the importance of using the sense system, getting it correct, and, you know, causing a nobody, which, if you play the demo, you know that when an enemy does not have a body, when it has a nobody, then it is extremely weak to every single attack, every single element, etc. Now, by using the Sixth Sense, you're essentially destroying the enemy's body by force, which turns it into this. It's not going to look like this, but basically it's the placeholder heart. You get to consume the heart or cleanse it. One is a quote-unquote positive action, one is a negative action. If you choose to consume the heart, you'll get an item which will allow you to teach a skill that the enemy had. You'll be able to teach that skill to anyone in your party. And this is useful because where your characters would usually only have access to one element type, they may now be able to have access to different element types, because of course enemies have different elements too. If you choose to cleanse, you will get an item which you take to a certain vendor, and they can turn it into unique weapons. So, once you've consumed or cleansed this enemy, the enemy will never appear anywhere in the game ever again. I think those are all the big changes, except for, so this is a sort of work in progress placeholder. I'm working with, or sort of in collaboration with, another creator who's called Neon Rot on Twitter. So what will happen is Toby will alert you in certain locations that there's a ghost, right? I don't know if it's going to be called a ghost, but that's essentially what it is. There's a ghost. And as you know, Toby basically is a Game Boy, and what will happen is your character will pick him up and you'll get screens like this. Now this is created by Neon Rot. He does this like really cool pixely art stuff, which is actually taken with the Game Boy camera. That's how he makes it, and some other technical like magicianry, whatever. The games that he makes are they're like board games, I guess. Like you need dice and stuff, like you get with like a little rule book, and it's a bit like D&D, I suppose, something like that. What I want it to come up is almost is one of those like text adventures, you know, those old text adventure games, or like I don't want it to, like, I want it to be quite a substantial mini game. I want something that people are going to be invested in, because I really would like a lot of lore tied into these ghosts. They will reveal a lot about the backstory and the shit that happened in the past. Yeah, so this is called Toby's Ghostbuster. And basically, you're able to do this, you'll be able to defeat these ghosts, because they will attack you. And you have to defeat it in like a text-based way, like a text-based RPG, I suppose. And yeah, and they will reveal lore, you'll get some experience, you'll get like, again, items and stuff that you can't get anywhere else. And there's also something else you'll be able to get, which I'm not going to tell you about yet, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, so I do recommend, if you want to see more of his work, like I said, his Twitter handle is neon_rot, or you can go to my Twitter. I'm pretty sure I retweeted Bilge when I got it. Yeah, I did. That was January 20. So yes, those are the main things. So I'll stop it here because this is already way too long. I hope this helps alleviate some stresses that you guys have been having. Because I've not really been updating the Kickstarter, and to be honest, I know I've apologized loads. I am trying my best. It is mainly just me. Any other people I work with are essentially contractors. I wrote the plot. I'm building the game. I draw all the environments, I create the enemies, I'm the one that runs the social medias and stuff. It's just a lot of work, as well as, trying to actually exist and earn money so I can pay people and have a social life. It's a lot, and this isn't me trying to make excuses. I guess I'm just giving you guys context. But hopefully this kind of alleviates your worries. The game's still definitely in development. It's just slow. It is just slow, unfortunately. I'm sorry for the lack of updates, and I really do hope this helps. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments on the Kickstarter and in the Discord. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. I'm not going to put a date on it. I'm not going to say it's next month or the month after. I will just see you next time when there's stuff to share, basically. Thank you and good night.